Welcome to Android demo classes. Okay, we are going to discuss about the Android and all the aspects regarding Android. As you have come here for training, so you must be acquainted with the Android and what it is for and what is beneficial aspects of this. Okay, so let's start with the introduction. Before going to the Android directly, we must know what are the advantages of Android or how Android is used in the market. Actually, it is in the form of mobile apps. Okay. Nowadays, what it is happening that most of the firms and companies are just making Android or other mobile applications to use for their purpose, for beneficial and for commercial purpose. Okay. For example, let's take an example, product companies, services companies, hotels, restaurants and cinemas all are getting their Android apps or any apps implemented by the developers for their benefits. Okay, so there are very large amount of employment opportunities for the developers in the market. Next, what type of Android and mobile apps that can be implemented by the developers? These are the basics and very useful apps that will be very helpful for the companies as well as individual person. For example, location-based apps to get the location of any destination, object recognition apps, anything which you want to recognize, for example, face recognition and all that. Mobile instant messaging for messaging purpose, social networking site to integrate Facebooks, Twitters and other networking sites or social networking sites into your apps. Mobile payments to pay your bills and telephone bills, whatever it is, mobile payments is integrated in the form of PayPal. Mobile email, mobile search, mobile commerce and all and many, the range is never ending and it is extending day by day. Now, as Android, you must be familiar what Android is. Actually, if you ask anybody, any developer what Android is, he will say that operating systems. But like Android, there are also some operating systems in the market. For example, iOS from Apple, BlackBerry from Ring, Bada from Samsung Electronics, Windows Phone and Symbian and Android from Google Inc. But there is a very subtle difference between them because all the above four or five OSs are closed in proprietary, means they are not free. If any developer wants to develop in these on these OS, he must be registered and certified. But for Android, you don't need any certification. You you are not going to pay anything for becoming a developer for Android. But for all these things, you will have to pay and you have to become a registered developer. Why choose Android? Till now you have become familiar why Android is important, how it is used in the mobile apps, but you have come here to make a career in Android field. So you must know why it is important for you to choose Android. Why choose Android? Most of the mobile OS in market are closed in proprietary, as I told you earlier. With most of the operating systems like iOS, BlackBerry, they are all closed. Okay, you need to be registered developer for that. But for Android, you don't need to be a very registered developer. You just start from the scratch without paying anything. Android is targeted primarily at developers. The main idea behind development of Android or implementation of Android is cited around the developer's point of view. Okay, no licensing fees, excellent documentation. The documentation has been provided very excellently, and thriving developer community. Has no approval process for application distribution. A free open source OS for mobile devices. Okay, and the most important thing with the Android is that any device manufacturer which is compatible with, which wants to deploy Android as an OS on their devices are free to customize in their own way. They can select any range of activities depending on Android, and they can customize their devices according to their own will, but which has not been provided with other OS of mobiles. Okay, so this Android has become a very right choice, or you can say a very preferred choice for manufacturer due to its customization power. Here, require no certification, as I have already told you earlier, provides the Android market for distribution. one major benefit of Android is that anybody who develops Android application can distribute it in the market of Google. Google provides you Google Market where mobile apps are distributed, and you can range your apps from free to you according the cost which you want that it should be there. Now we have heard, we have already talked much about Android, but actually we don't have dealt with the Android definition or Android introduction. We are just talking about the benefits of Android, but now it's time to understand what is Android. Actually, Android is an operating system, but not operating system. It is more than an operating system. Actually, it is a stack of softwares for mobile devices. For development purpose, Google has provided you the stack of softwares which include OS, documentations, middlewares, and all that. We'll be getting through it further. Android is a Linux-based operating system designed primarily for touch-screen mobile phone. Actually, it is made for touch screen, so you can say it is developed for the smartphones, to develop applications for the smartphones. Okay. Initially developed by Google Inc., which Google backed financially and later purchased in 2005. These are the history. You can have a good look. Android is open source and Google releases the code under the Apache license. It is the main feature of Android. Actually, there are a lot of mobile platforms in the market, but what differentiates Android from others is open source. It is an open source and provides all the capabilities of Android which can be implemented by the developers. Now, here are some major components of Android. Okay, starting from the bottom, it is an operating system which is based on Linux. This is middleware libraries written in C. This is application framework written in Java, and these are the native applications which comes with the mobile and devices. And this is software development kit SDK, which is provided by the Android. Here is the architecture of Android application. It is the same, or you can say elaborating of the previous slide. Starting from the bottom, it is the OS, Linux kernel based. It contains all the drivers to interact with the hardware. Okay. Display driver, keypad driver, camera drivers, and all the other drivers. Linux is responsible for memory management, security, and networking, and all this. It contains driver for specific purpose. Here is the libraries. Libraries means these are the libraries written in C and C++ language. Actually, they are called middlewares, and it is the runtime environment which is provided for the application to run. Okay, these core libraries are written in Java. Everything which you see in blue is written in Java code, and green part is written in C++ coding. Okay, Dalvik Virtual Machine. It provides the runtime environment for the mobile applications. Okay, and it executes .dex extension files. These are the application frameworks which comes with Android SDK. Activity Manager, Window Manager, Content Provider. All these are the frameworks which is required by any app to be developed. And these are the applications which comes with your mobile devices, which company provides you by default. We will be getting into details when the training will start, but for this time it is very necessary to understand only the basics. These are the Android versions till date. Latest is Jelly Bean API 16 and 17, version 4.1 and 4.2. And before that, the ice cream sandwich, you must be very familiar about this ice cream sandwich because it is being used in the market very widely. Honeycomb, gingerbread, 2.3x, 2.33 and 2.31. What makes Android the right career choice? It is very important to know for anybody why to make career in the Android. Actually, you know, Google is a brand. It is widely used all over the world. So it is backed by Google. Above 7 million apps on Android marketplace till 2011. Okay, very popular due to low cost factor. It doesn't require any costing for making mobile apps in Android, and adapted by all major mobile manufacturers. Better salaries and is based on Java. Here in our training, the methodology we follow are equate you to Android smartphones. Okay, because many of you, it is not necessary that you are familiar with the Android phones. So we will first make you familiar with the Android phones, smartphones, and we will tell you the difference between features and feature phones and smartphones. Okay, we will build application right from the. We will start your training with a demo application, practicals, so that you can be just habitual of making the projects or working on the projects, so that we can make you understand the theory very well. Take up theory wherever required. Okay. Along with this application development, we will take up the theory and explain you the ADLC model, Android Application Development Life Cycle. Means every application making has a very systematic way of doing it. For example, softwares are just made by using SDLC, Software Development Life Cycle. On the basis of that, we have just refined it in the Android Application Development Life Cycle, with sufficient screenshots where required. Let's have a quick demo of how to make a project in Android. You will have to download an SDK package from the developer side, and there you will get Eclipse IDE. You will go to the Eclipse and just click on File, and you will get the open. These are the choices for making different projects. Here you select Android project. Now give the project name here. Minimum SDK, on which SDK version you want to build, you can drop down it and select it. Now finish, and here are the application. It is one of your applications, calculator. Okay, this is the activity. It represents your screen where you will put your UIs and interact with the user. This is how it is installed, and these are the icons of your application. And your application is like this, suppose, and it is the main screen of your application. General topics which you would be covering, it is not in the details, but it is a general topic which includes subtopics also, but we will not putting it here. But we will start from the Android fundamentals, ADLC, example apps, and the main thing is this, that after reaching this point, you will be having these advanced topics also. It will totally depend on your capability, how fast you are grabbing the things, and how well you can understand these concepts, because these are optional. If you are left with the time, we will be surely covering these topics also, and these are the topics which you will surely cover. That's all. If anybody having any question, you can ask me.